Look, I am an addict. When it comes to YouTube, social media, and cell phones, I am a junkie, and I'm not just being dramatic. Cravings and urges to use the substance? Check. Not managing to do what you should at work, home, or school because of substance use? Check. Wanting to cut down or stop using the substance but not managing to? Check. Coolness amongst teens but not amongst adults? Duh. Unfortunately, addicts aren't well known for being able to just do a little of something, so I have to cut all of it out. In this video, I'll be going without YouTube, social media, or even my cell phone for an entire week. Let's see what happens. So here's how this is going to work. When I wake up on Tuesday, September 29th, every single thing that I have deemed as a distraction will be blocked. This includes all video content like YouTube or Netflix, as well as all social media and my entire cell phone. Those things will remain completely unavailable to me until I wake up on Tuesday, October 6th.
But Brayden, why are you doing it Tuesday to Tuesday?
Because my package was late and days are arbitrary.
Yeah, whatever. How are you gonna do it?
To block all the websites, I found a program called Cold Turkey Blocker. It allows you to make a list of all the sites you'd like blocked and then set a time window for how long you want to block them. Now, getting rid of my smartphone is actually quite a bit more difficult. There are a few things that smartphones provide that I totally took for granted. For example, I'm gonna have to wear a watch. And even worse, I had to go out and buy an alarm clock. But there's one thing I really just can't give up, and that's the ability to call or text. So I need a device that would allow me to call and text without the distractions of a smartphone. That's right, I got a flip phone. It even has a camera. Check out this selfie. Looks pretty good. Now here's the rules with this thing. The only contacts I have are my immediate family, my roommate, and my boss. I'm not going to carry this thing on me. It stays here in this room, so I can call if I need to, but when I go out to go places, my pockets are empty. Basically, this is emergency only.
So what are you gonna do all week?
Instead of wasting away all my time on the internet, I want to be making music, making YouTube videos, and just generally being more mindful of my life. So I'm going to be spending my time doing things that further my goals.
Aren't you gonna be bored?
Yeah, definitely. So it's Monday night now, and the test starts tomorrow. I've already taken the SIM card out of my phone and put it in the flip phone. And now it's time to turn on the blocker. Go to unlocked, timer. Today is Monday the 28th, and we're not gonna unblock until Tuesday the 6th at, let's say, 6 a.m. Say, for 7 days. As soon as I hit this switch, there will be nothing I can do to turn this off, and we'll see what happens. Here we go. Yep, lock the block. If we go to YouTube, sorry, you've quit this site cold turkey. I've just signed up for a lot. So that's it then. Tomorrow when I wake up, I won't have anything to distract me. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I think I'm gonna be really bored for a little while, but once I make that adjustment, I think I'll be able to fill the time just fine. And instead of the things that I don't want to be doing, I'll be doing the things I want to be doing. At least that's the idea. So let's go to sleep and let the experiment begin.
So we signed up for Know Your Drive. We save money and get closer to her dancing dreams.
The daring young man on the flying taxi.
As I got going with my day-to-day, my first thoughts were actually thoughts of freedom and not thoughts of boredom. My morning was pretty good. I got out of bed on time and I made that little sequence that you saw just now. And then I just worked a full day of work, and that looked something like this.
So continued on the email.
You know, I have a free hour for lunch. Instead of watching a YouTube video in that time, I actually edited that intro sequence. So overall, it's like already working. I've already been more productive in these last couple of hours than I have been in the past month. So it's the end of the first day, and I would say it's been a massive success. I had a bit of a lull right around 5 right after I finished my day job, because what usually happens is the clock hits 5 and my brain just feels fried and I feel like I don't have the energy to keep going. But today I really pushed through that, and I think that's a really important lesson for me to learn, is that I'm not done, and I didn't struggle to find the energy at all. I edited pretty much everything you've seen up to this point, and that's a lot of work, so I'm pretty proud of myself today, and tomorrow we do it again. So it's the end of day 2. The shirt doesn't pop. So it's the end of day 2, and it wasn't so bad. I'm finding that the difficulty depends a lot on how much free time I have. So first there are easy chunks of time, which counterintuitively are chunks that are longer than an hour. Because when I have that much time, it's been pretty easy to pick up a project or do something that takes that much time. Next are uncomfortable chunks of time, which are from 5 to 15 minutes. These are times like when I go to the bathroom, when I don't have my Sudoku anymore. What am I supposed to do? Just sit there? Or waiting on your to-go order at a restaurant. Last are the hard amounts of time, which is anything from 15 minutes to an hour. It's hard to start doing something significant during that time. For example, my lunch break today. It's now really obvious to me that I was just habitually watching something while I ate, and now there's nothing to watch. It was in this moment that I had thoughts of, hey, you could just go, turn on the phone, don't put it in the video, no one will know. So today, after work, I went to the gym, and then I only had about 3 hours to fill. I've had this amp lying around that my friend is allowing me to try. This thing has been sitting around completely unused for multiple weeks now, but today, I finally pulled it into my room, and here's what I made. Look, this is a big deal. That is the first piece of music I have made in this room since I moved in 2.5 months ago. I have been staring at this wall for 2.5 months, and I finally broke through it today. So overall, I'm already really pleased with this experiment. It's not easy, it's definitely not, but it's been totally worth it. And I've gone to bed these past 2 nights more fulfilled than I normally do. Sorry to skip ahead, but there wasn't much that happened in the past 3 days. But now we're on day 6, and I want to talk about how I'm feeling and answer some of the questions that you probably have for me at this point. So how do I feel? It's kind of hard for me to qualify how I feel, but in general I feel better and I don't feel nearly as bored as I thought I was going to. As the days go on, I feel more and more content with sitting and being. My mind is clearer. I don't feel like I need to fill it with anything. In the first couple days, I found myself constantly reaching for a phone in the places where I'd normally put it, be it like in my pocket or on my desk, and then realizing it wasn't there. And now that urge is suddenly gone. I'm just comfortable in the fact that I don't have the phone and I don't feel the need to grab it anymore. So you're probably wondering, do I miss it? Do I miss my phone? Do I miss YouTube? Do I miss Netflix? And the answer is more or less no. I don't really miss it. Something like YouTube I only miss in those hard periods of time, those 15 to 60 minutes, when there's nothing else really to do, and it's not an easy amount of time to just wait through. So I find myself just wishing like, come on, can't I just watch one video? But my cell phone, for the most part, I don't miss at all. The only times are like going to a restaurant when you need to scan the thing to have the virtual menu. I can't look at the menu. Like, it's rather frustrating that I'm just expected to have a smartphone in this world, and it's understandable because everyone does. But I think that's part of the reason why we feel so attached to it, is all of a sudden you go without one and you can't do simple things like look at a menu. I absolutely miss Google Maps. That's pretty useful. So there's a lot of reasons to carry a smartphone, and I'm gonna have to find some happy medium of having one but not letting it be distracting. Another question is, do I feel less informed? I think this is a big question to address because, well, I know a lot of people's concerns about quitting social media, about turning off their devices, is that they'll miss something. They'll miss something important, something very important that they need to know about. And I think the reality is that's just not the case. I don't feel less informed. The big news still gets to you. For example, I absolutely know that Trump was hospitalized with coronavirus. There's no way I couldn't know that. The big news gets to you, and I think you're vastly overestimating the amount of useful information you receive from these apps, and I think that's very intentional on their part. And in fact, most of the information you get from these apps is actually misinformation. So maybe instead of framing it as I'm less informed, maybe I'm less misinformed. So, am I happier? I think yes, but I don't think that's necessarily just because I turned everything off, because I got rid of all the lounging around. I think that's part of it, but the biggest aspect is filling that time with activities that I find intrinsically enjoyable and fulfilling. So I would say if you were to try this, don't expect to just be happier when you turn it all off. If you're spending all your time staring at a wall, I guarantee you, you won't be much happier. If you take that time and you do something you enjoy. So, I have a confession to make. Yesterday was Sunday, and I had no responsibilities for the whole day. I basically had 12 free hours. And it started off pretty good. I filmed day 6's segment, and then I edited it, and then it was like noon. I ended up really bored. It was definitely the hardest day so far, and I cheated. I broke the rules. I discovered that a YouTube video would play if it was embedded on a website. As I was scrolling through some news headlines, I watched an SNL skit. I definitely think my time period list from before needs an update. There's a really hard chunk of time, and that is chunks greater than 8 hours. Because you can fill 4, 5, even 6 hours with like good projects and stuff, but at some point you run out of juice. Something I expected over the course of this week was a sort of lull in the middle. I expected that in the beginning I would have high energy, lots of excitement just because of starting a new project. And then that kind of energy would wear off towards the middle, and I would be left just bored without my devices. And then I would learn how to take advantage of that time, and my energy would increase again at the end. But instead, I suspect that my experiment wasn't long enough. I think that early energy lasted about 4, 5, 6 days. I'm now kind of low at the end of it, and I'm kind of worried about going back to my normal routine, very ready to just refill my life with all the distractions. I think if I was to do this again, I'd definitely go longer, maybe 2 weeks, maybe even a whole month, so that I could learn to use that time effectively and get to a place where I don't need the distractions anymore before I add them back into my life. It's a couple of days later and things are back to normal. I'm back to YouTube and my cell phone has been turned back on, and there are a few things I did right away that I'm pretty happy about. I went through my phone and I deleted any sort of game or thing that could be a distraction.
Solitaire? Get out of here. Sudoku? Don't mind if I do.
Honestly, I feel like I could permanently go with just a flip phone, except for the fact that I need the smartphone. I just need it for little things. And unfortunately, my prediction at the end of day 7 was pretty accurate. Because I ended the experiment kind of at a low, I did end up sort of falling right back into it. I've been watching a lot of YouTube again. It's been not ideal. I definitely want to try to do this experiment again. I want to do it better, I want to do it longer. This was not the cleanse I was hoping it would be. I do recommend that you try to do it yourself. It wasn't expensive or anything. My flip phone was $30. The alarm clock, you probably have one laying around. Cold turkey blocker is free. Overall, this was an easy experiment to do. And I think the reason it was important for me is it did show me that I can live without these things. Anyway, that was my experiment and those were my results. Unfortunately, they weren't life-changing. I'm not cured in any way. At the end of the day, the choice is still mine. I can choose to distract myself, or I can choose to do the things that further my goals. And I just have to get better at making that choice. So, if you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you like, comment, and subscribe. That's really all that I ask. This is a very small YouTube channel, so every little nugget of engagement helps me tremendously. I really appreciate you watching this little slice of my life, and I'll see you next time.